Imagine making the same mistake every month without realizing it. A mistake so small that it seems completely harmless. It's only $100. Most people spend that amount without thinking twice. A dinner out, a few online purchases, a new gadget, or a weekend of entertainment can easily cost more. But what if that seemingly insignificant $100 was quietly stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from your future? What if this single habit was one of the reasons millions of people struggle financially year after year? The truth is that poverty is rarely caused by one dramatic decision. More often, it is the result of small financial choices repeated consistently over long periods of time. While many people believe wealth is created through massive salaries or lucky investments, the reality is often much simpler. Wealth is built through habits. And unfortunately, many people have habits that work against them. The $100 mistake isn't about the amount itself. It's about what that money could become if used differently. Rich people understand that every dollar has potential. Poor and middle-class individuals often focus on what money can buy today. Wealthy individuals focus on what money can become tomorrow. This difference in perspective creates dramatically different outcomes over time. The mistake seems small in the moment, but over years and decades, its consequences become enormous. Understanding this concept may completely change the way you view money, spending, and wealth building. $100 may not seem like much, which is exactly why the mistake is so common. Most people don't think carefully about small purchases. They focus on large financial decisions like buying a house or choosing a career. Meanwhile, hundreds of smaller spending decisions quietly shape their financial future. Modern society encourages instant gratification. Advertisements constantly tell us to buy now, enjoy now, and worry later. Social media creates pressure to consume. Online shopping makes spending effortless. Within seconds, a person can purchase almost anything they want. The problem isn't occasional enjoyment. The problem is when temporary satisfaction becomes a permanent habit. Every month, millions of people spend money on things that provide only a few moments of happiness. The excitement fades quickly, but the financial consequences remain. Wealthy individuals often approach spending differently. Before making purchases, they ask whether the purchase will improve their future or simply satisfy a short-term desire. This simple question changes everything. The $100 mistake is often the decision to prioritize immediate pleasure over future opportunity. While one purchase may seem insignificant, repeated hundreds of times over a lifetime, it becomes a powerful force working against wealth creation. Most people evaluate purchases based on their current price. If something costs $100, they believe the cost is exactly $100. Wealthy individuals think differently. They consider the future value of that money. If $100 were invested instead of spent, it could potentially grow for years or even decades. This concept is known as opportunity cost. Every dollar spent today loses the opportunity to generate future returns. Imagine investing $100 every month instead of spending it on unnecessary purchases. Over time, those investments begin producing returns. Those returns generate additional returns. Eventually, compound growth begins accelerating. What started as small amounts can become tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. The wealthy understand this principle deeply. They recognize that every spending decision carries a hidden future cost. The poor often see $100 as a small expense. Investors see it as a seed capable of growing into something much larger. The difference between these two perspectives may seem minor, but over decades, it creates radically different financial outcomes. The true cost of the $100 mistake isn't $100. It's the wealth that money could have created if invested wisely. One of the biggest misconceptions about wealth is that rich people become wealthy because they make dramatically different decisions than everyone else. In reality, the difference often begins with surprisingly small choices. Consider two individuals earning the same income. One spends an extra $100 every month on things that quickly lose value. The other invests that same amount consistently. At first, their financial lives appear almost identical. A year later, the difference is still small. Even after a few years, it may not seem significant. This is why so many people underestimate the importance of small financial habits. The real difference appears over decades. The investor accumulates assets. Those assets generate returns. Those returns are reinvested. Eventually, the gap begins widening at an accelerating rate. Meanwhile, the spender continues exchanging future wealth for temporary consumption. This process happens so gradually that many people never notice it until much later in life. They wonder why some individuals seem to pull further ahead, financially, every year. The answer often lies in habits that began long ago. Wealth is rarely created through one extraordinary decision. More often, it emerges from ordinary decisions repeated consistently. The $100 mistake seems insignificant because its consequences are invisible in the short term. Yet over a lifetime, it can contribute significantly to the wealth gap between those who invest and those who consume. As people earn more money, they often assume their financial problems will disappear. Unfortunately, higher income alone does not guarantee wealth. One of the biggest reasons is lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation occurs when spending increases alongside income. A person receives a raise and immediately upgrades their lifestyle. They move into a more expensive home, purchase a nicer car, subscribe to additional services, and spend more freely. As a result, despite earning more money, they make little progress financially. The $100 mistake frequently grows into a much larger problem through lifestyle inflation. What begins as small, unnecessary purchases eventually expands into expensive habits. Wealthy individuals often resist this tendency. Instead of increasing spending every time income rises, they direct a portion of that additional income toward investments. This creates a powerful cycle where income growth accelerates wealth creation rather than consumption. Many people spend their entire careers earning more while remaining financially stressed because their expenses grow just as quickly as their income. Rich people understand that wealth is determined not only by how much money enters your life, but also by what you do with it. Avoiding lifestyle inflation allows investments to grow faster and creates opportunities that excessive spending can never provide. One of the defining characteristics of wealthy individuals is their ability to think differently about money. Most people view money primarily as a tool for consumption. They earn it so they can spend it. Wealthy individuals often view money as a tool for production. They focus on how money can create more money. This mindset affects nearly every financial decision they make. When presented with a spending opportunity, they often ask themselves whether the purchase will generate future value. If the answer is no, they think carefully before proceeding. This doesn't mean rich people never spend money or enjoy life. It means they understand the trade-offs involved. They recognize that every dollar spent is a dollar that can no longer be invested. The $100 mistake persists because many people never learn this way of thinking. They see only the immediate benefit of a purchase. Wealthy individuals see both the present benefit and the future cost. This ability to evaluate long-term consequences gives them a tremendous advantage. Over years and decades, These differences in thinking compound just like investments do. The result is a financial trajectory that often looks completely different from that of the average person. The good news is that the $100 mistake is completely avoidable. You don't need a six-figure income, a finance degree, or a lucky investment to break the cycle. What you need is awareness. The first step is recognizing that small financial decisions matter. Most people believe wealth building starts when they have more money. In reality, wealth building starts when they manage the money they already have differently. The next time you're about to spend $100 on something unnecessary, pause and ask yourself a simple question. Will my future self thank me for this purchase? That question alone can transform spending habits. Wealthy people constantly think about the future version of themselves. They understand that every financial decision is either helping or hurting that future. Another effective strategy is automation. Instead of relying on willpower, automatically transfer money into investments as soon as you get paid. When investing becomes automatic, spending becomes a conscious decision rather than the default behavior. The goal isn't to eliminate enjoyment from life. The goal is to ensure that every dollar has a purpose. Breaking the cycle isn't about deprivation. It's about intentionality. Once people begin viewing money as a tool for creating freedom instead of only buying things, their financial lives often change dramatically. Small decisions begin producing larger results. The same $100 that once disappeared each month can become the foundation of future wealth. Many people delay investing because they believe they need thousands of dollars to get started. This belief keeps countless individuals on the sidelines. Wealthy people understand a simple truth: the amount matters less than the habit. The first $100 invested is often more important psychologically than financially.
Why?
Because it marks the moment someone transitions from being only a consumer to becoming an investor. That first investment changes identity. It creates momentum. It proves that wealth building is possible. Once the habit begins, it becomes easier to continue. Many millionaires did not start with large sums of money. They started with small, consistent investments. Over time, those investments grew. Additional contributions were added. Compound growth began working. Eventually, the results became substantial. The person who invests $100 consistently every month often ends up far ahead of someone who waits years for the perfect time to start. Rich people understand that action beats perfection. They don't wait until everything is ideal. They begin with what they have and improve over time. The first $100 may not change your life immediately, but it can change the direction of your financial future. And sometimes, direction matters far more than speed. If you study wealthy people closely, you'll notice a recurring pattern. They rarely rely on dramatic financial moves. Instead, they focus on consistent habits. Investing regularly, avoiding unnecessary debt, living below their means, acquiring assets, thinking long-term. These behaviors may not appear exciting, but they are incredibly powerful. The $100 mistake highlights an important truth. Small actions repeated consistently can create enormous outcomes. The same principle that makes bad habits destructive also makes good habits transformative. Spending an extra $100 every month may not seem harmful. Investing an extra $100 every month may not seem life-changing. Yet over decades, the difference can be extraordinary. Wealth often grows quietly. There are no fireworks, no overnight success stories, just years of disciplined decisions compounding into larger results. This is why many people underestimate the importance of habits. They focus on immediate outcomes rather than long-term trajectories. Wealthy individuals understand that success is often less about intensity and more about consistency. They know that small actions performed repeatedly can eventually create financial results that seem impossible to outsiders. The secret isn't complexity. The secret is persistence. So, what is the $100 mistake that keeps millions poor? It's not simply spending $100. It's repeatedly choosing short-term consumption over long-term wealth creation. It's failing to recognize the hidden potential within every dollar. It's ignoring opportunity cost, delaying investing, and underestimating the power of small habits. The wealthy understand that money is more than a spending tool. It's a wealth-building tool. Every dollar has the potential to grow, produce returns, and create future opportunities. The difference between financial struggle and financial success is often found in the small choices people make every day. The person who invests consistently may not look different today. They may not feel richer tomorrow. But over years and decades, those decisions compound into something remarkable. The next time you're about to spend $100 on something you don't truly need, remember this. The purchase itself is rarely the problem. The problem is the future wealth you're giving up without realizing it. Rich people don't become wealthy because they earn more money than everyone else. They become wealthy because they consistently direct their money toward assets, growth, and opportunity. The $100 mistake may seem small, but avoiding it could be one of the most important financial decisions you ever make.